Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. Fundstrat's Tom Lee has reaffirmed his $30,000 Bitcoin price target by December of 2018, but other permabulls are not as optimistic as Lee about the short-term trend of Bitcoin. In May, BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes stated that he would like to see the Bitcoin price fall to the $5,000 region before recovering and initiating a 2017-esque rally to ensure that the market does not expose itself to the creation of a minor bubble. This week, Shapeshift CEO Eric Voorhees and the cryptocurrency investor Anthony Pompliano, better known as Pomp, echoed the sentiment of Hayes, stating that the bear market of Bitcoin is not over just yet. Here's a little price graph. On CNBC Crypto Trader host Ryan Neuner, Voorhees, the founder and CEO of major digital asset platform Shapeshift, said, and I quote, "I don't expect the bear market, to end soon, although I do think that the rate of collapse has slowed considerably. Generally in these bubbles, after you go through several months of a downtrend, you hang out in the range for a while, but I think we are done with the majority of the collapse," end quote. Voorhees offered a relatively enthusiastic viewpoint on the trend of the crypto market, noting that while the bear market of Bitcoin has evidently not ended, the worst part of the correction has slowed down. Last week, researchers at DR reported that the rate of Bitcoin's volatility has dropped to a 14-month low, as Bitcoin demonstrated stability in the mid $6,000 range on the 6th of August for around 3 weeks. As seen in previous 80% corrections and rallies in 2012, 2014, and 2017, Bitcoin has traditionally required a period of stability before initiating a large rally on the upside. A lot of people have been saying, or they've been looking at the charts, and they've noticed that the constant up and downs are slowly slowing down. And we're getting to the point where, I don't really know the exact terminology. The range is getting tight. I think that's the best way to kind of say it. And when you get really, really close to the end, possibly somewhere around here, this typically means one way or the other that the price of Bitcoin will completely collapse, fall down to around maybe $2,000 or $3,000, or will completely shoot up. And this is why, I guess, apparently because of graphs as well, according with all the other news that we've been getting, that September is probably the most significant time frame that we've been getting for quite some time. When it comes to the prices, Bitcoin's price, at least at the time of me making this video, is scratching the surface of 7,000. I'm hoping that we can pass that within the next hour or two. The only other coins of significance at the moment, every other coin, as you can see, seems to be following Bitcoin. Tether's going down because everyone has been selling their Tether. I don't think there's been any significant Cardano news. IOTA is up because of the Fujitsu news that happened yesterday. There was something going on about Dash. I don't think I have it in this video. Apparently, as you can see, there was a huge spike in price, and people found out that a lot of that volume was coming from one exchange, not even multiple exchanges. So they think that somebody on one exchange either is pumping the price, or they decided to buy a huge amount of Dash on one exchange, which is causing this kind of huge uptick. There's nothing really significant about Neo that's been going around. I think there was something about, I think I actually have news about VeChain, so this could also be the reason why this is also up. And I think everything else is just more or less excitement at the price of Bitcoin going up. But we'll see in the next couple of days if this actually means anything. We've had this happen before where the prices have slowly gone up. Everyone has become very excited, and then we have moments like this where the price completely collapses. Only time will tell if this is the beginning of something good for the cryptocurrency market. Next up, India is once again in the news, and it is just as confusing as it was before. On the 27th of August, the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, revealed that they had created their own working unit within the governing bank of the country to create a system that imbibes emerging financial service disruptors such as cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. An official associated with the RBI, whose name was not revealed because they're always secret, stated that, and I quote, "As a regulator, the RBI also has to explore new emerging areas to check what can be adopted and what cannot. A central bank has to be on top to create regulations. The new unit is on an experimental basis and will evolve as time passes, end quote. The details of this month-old unit is still a highly guarded secret, with a chief general manager set to be posted at the helm. The officials with an idea of what the body does have stated that the main aim of such a move is to be clued into the revolution that is happening in the economic ecosystem and to ensure that the financial models in India are not outdated or pushed around. The startling new revelation comes directly after Subhash Chandra Garg, who's the head of the Department of Economic Affairs, had called cryptocurrency some kind of a Ponzi scheme, stating that the Reserve Bank of India has revealed advisories for this specific reason. This is also the reason the regulator has debarred banks from dealing with any aspect of the technology, with Garg referring to this move as regulations. He said, and I quote, "The committee is studying the possibility of using cryptocurrencies or the crypto technology for financial transactions, and also what kind of regulations are needed for that. While the currency is totally banned, the committee is discussing its other usage and how it can be made mainstream in India." Another official who has been given his stance on cryptocurrencies is R. Gandhi, a former RBI deputy governor who has earlier tagged cryptocurrencies as assets and not as cryptocurrencies. No need to really read on a bit more. Rather, what I find interesting about all of this is that we have multiple countries who have banned crypto, have outlawed it, have said that their citizens cannot touch it. These are also the countries who are creating some type of crypto task force where they're looking at the positive sides of crypto and also how they can use it and how they can benefit from it. This is why it said they're trying to not be left behind or to make sure that they are not being pushed around. This also, for me, coincides a bit with the news that we had. It has to be about a month and a half or something like that now, where we had the slip up once again from the person at Ripple who said that they are very close with the Indian government. They have an office in India, and that they actually planned on giving XRP to every person in India as well. And I told you guys in the video, that doesn't just happen randomly. You would be thrown in jail immediately if you try to give some other type of asset to another country. Like, you can't just throw Mexican pesos on every single person who lives in France or something like that. That would be completely out of the realm of possibility. You would face some consequences, economic consequences when it comes to that. And they also said that they are, what was it? I think they are now partnered with like more than 60% of banks in India, which was also something that they shouldn't have let slip. So I assume what I felt, at least to me, India is definitely in on the cryptocurrency game. They have been to other meetings with other countries. I'm pretty sure they know that something big is going to happen. So I'm pretty sure they have their hands in the cookie jar, if you will. But I think they're just waiting for other countries to kind of put their laws out there or say that they're okay with it. I'm not exactly sure why India, maybe it's like a big risk for them. Maybe they're afraid of being too upright and positive about it, and then other countries kind of slinking back away from it, and then they've put themselves in some type of compromising economic position that they don't want themselves in. That could be it in the end. But just reading, not even between the lines, just reading the actual lines with all the other news that we have about the other countries who are getting their cryptocurrencies, it's fairly obvious where the cryptocurrency space is going to go. But it would be nice because I noticed a lot of people in the comment section have noted that they do live in India. They're upset with what's going on in India. So let's hope that I'm hoping that by September that India kind of gets it together so that people living there can actually trade and buy and sell cryptocurrencies. Because I mean, there are a lot of people in India, and even if a small fraction of them, even if all of them just bought even like a €1 or $1 worth of it, that would have a huge impact on the entire market and on certain coins. But who knows what the future holds. But this is the India news for today. They have created another branch of government, if you will, that is looking into cryptos and blockchain technology. Next up, this one is actually interestingly weird, if you will. New issuances of the stablecoin Tether, or the USDT, are not currently affecting the price of either major cryptocurrencies or smaller altcoins. This was reported by Bloomberg on the 24th of August. In the article, Bloomberg noted that the allegations that Tether has been used to manipulate or stabilize the price of Bitcoin, previously put forth in a paper from the University of Texas, are not holding true for the crypto markets this August. The paper, published in mid-June, had claimed that Bitcoin reached its all-time high of $20,000 due to price manipulation involving both Tether and the sixth largest crypto exchange, Bitfinex, which is reportedly the only direct client of Tether. For those who are new to all of this or have no idea what I just said, pretty much what it comes down to, very quick, is that Tether is a coin that was created to be on a one-to-one basis with the US dollar, i.e. every single one Tether is $1 US. There was controversy that people found graphs sometime last year, or they were doing the price correlations, and every single time that more Tether was created, the price of Bitcoin would also go up, because it was believed, or still the theory goes, that every single time that Tether printed $100 million worth of Tether, they would use that $100 million then to buy up Bitcoin. And as there are $100 million less of Bitcoin in the market, the price ends up going up because a lot of buy orders have been completely filled. They're only higher prices, and other people start to FOMO into the market because they say, oh my gosh, who just bought $100 million worth of Tether? The other side of this is that Tether claims, or has claimed, that they are backed on a one-to-one basis by the US dollar. So for every Tether that they print, someone or some organization or some lender or angel investor has given them $1 as well. But when you print $100 million at a time, this then means that someone on the outside has given you $100 million as well to kind of back all of this up. They've had two audits. That's the word. Three companies actually, one of them who dropped out and the other two who claimed or came forward and said that Tether was completely real. So this is kind of the backdrop, because there was a lot of fear at the beginning of the year that said that pretty much I think there's like 2.7 billion Tether or something like that. I can actually check right now because the tab is already open. Where's Tether? Yeah, 2.8 billion. As they continue printing more Tether, who is giving them this money? Do they actually have the money? And if the problem is that if they don't actually have this money in US dollars and they've printed this much money out of thin air and have then bought that much Bitcoin with that much Tether, this would mean that the price of Bitcoin was faked. And this was a major thing that we had towards the beginning of the year. But apparently things have been smoothed out a tiny bit as the other companies came forward and claimed and said that no, Tether is indeed real. In a June article, Bloomberg had noted that the research paper used 87 examples of the largest purchases of Tether with Bitcoin from March 2017 to March 2018, finding that although they accounted for less than 1% of the time period examined, they amounted to about 50% of Bitcoin's compounded return over the year. In this week's article, Bloomberg noted that the findings made in a recent research paper by blockchain research firm Chainalysis claimed that Tether had been increasingly impacting the prices of smaller cryptocurrencies such as EOS and NEO instead of major cryptos such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and that all of this was not true for August. They actually have the correlation and stuff like that here, because this is a major problem. You can't grow a system. You can't have the New York Stock Exchange. You can't have all these other major entities getting into Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies if it's all fake. There's really or rarely has been any news about Tether impacting NEO or EOS. I'm sure that's also a thing. You can definitely, if they are printing money or getting money on the side, and nothing is stopping them from buying the other altcoins. What's interesting to note is that there are a number of stable coins that are going to be released this year as well. My theory, at least now, is a lot of people have been coming forward the last couple of weeks and have been boasting about their coin and how great their coin is and how great this is and what my coin does and my coin is better than yours. A lot of these altcoins that are coming out are probably not tied to, well, they're definitely not tied to Tether. They're also not tied to the other stablecoin that we have right now, True USD. So I'm going to assume at some point we're going to have these other stablecoins launched, and we're going to have a lot of altcoins that are going to be experiencing very dramatic price increases, and probably until 2020, that is the year 2020, we won't know why, and then a lot of stuff will come to light. But that's just kind of how the cryptocurrency space is. There was another article about like manipulation and stuff like that in the cryptocurrency market that I think it came out a day or two ago. And I was reading through it, and they were talking about how there's so many practices that are being done and so many things that are also going to be protected that would otherwise be illegal, if that kind of makes sense, because they plan on, or what I've read and have been reading, is that they plan on not being as stringent or having tight controls with crypto that they do on normal money. As long as they can track where it's going, they're totally fine with it. But a lot of the things, a lot of the fail safes for fraud and stuff like that we have within traditional finance apparently won't be layered on top of crypto. And they said as well, because crypto doesn't really go through one entity, you can't completely stop it. So what a lot of the governments are doing right now is that they're just hoping to kind of hamper it in like a sort of way that, they said we will never be able to, one, you can't stop complete fraud in the stock market. Like, fraud happens every single day. So when they give less tight regulations on the cryptocurrency market, it is expected that at some point there will definitely be a side of the market that is running a bit more illegal than other things. But that's something for another video. This is the Tether news for today. As far as we know now, Tether is real. I think they made this article because I'm pretty sure the people behind Bloomberg are probably partnered with them in some way. Like, Bloomberg would not waste their time talking about $500 million being printed in Tether and how it's real and how it's not impacting the markets, which is the same exact news we had earlier this year, that Tether was impacting the markets. So I assume in all of this, Bloomberg is trying to protect the price of Bitcoin and make sure that other people know and have the news that Tether is not a threat to the market as it was perceived earlier this year. I'm out of breath already. Next up, VeChain is in the news, which is something you will not hear often. Sunny Liu, who is the founder of the 18th largest cryptocurrency by market cap, which is attracting speedy growth, added his comments on the future of the network during a live chat on YouTube. The commentary started with a Mr. Liu praising the VeChain community, highlighting out that it is one of the best and great examples of a crypto community. I mean, you can't trash your own community, so of course he's going to say that. He cited the extension of the X node binding time window as one of the main actions the team took as a result of the community input. Accordingly, with Foundation's reward pool that holds 15 billion VET tokens, with Thunder, Mjolnir, and Strength nodes are tracked for handout, the overview of the X node will resume. When it comes to the mainnet, Sunny Liu added that everything is going according to plan, as approximately 90% of VEN turned to VET. Proportionally with this, he is very happy with the new protocol, multitask transactions, and how it rolled out. It makes it possible to issue various transactions in one major one. As the platform hit above the 100,000 transaction mark, the blockchain is signaling this adoption is on the way for VeChain Thor. However, even with the score, they are still somewhat around 1.5 transactions per second, and they need a lot more to complete or compete with existing centralized payment options. For the near term, the founder noted on the VVid, these words, my gosh, like nothing sounds like English. VVid service that makes it possible for the user to verify their identity. On top of that, a VeChain Thor mobile was mentioned. He confirmed that another partnership will be added to the current line of automotive partnerships that include BMW and Renault. Had not also heard about these. I think these are also partnerships, or rather, I think BMW is with IOTA. IOTA's with someone. So the VeChain news for today, without reading anymore, because I think it just talks about the price and how the coin got started and how great they are, is that apparently VeChain has been relatively silent as they are gearing up to introduce or announce more partnerships that are as big as BMW and Renault. That's great. We don't, like I said, hear a lot from VeChain at all. They're rarely ever in the news. But it's nice to hear that they are still alive and ticking and have partnerships going on. Last up, we spoke about North Korea a day or two ago, and this is actually separate news from what we already spoke about. This is just when you think crypto can't get any odder, I think that's the word I'm going to use, more odd, we kind of get news like this. Sanctions hit. North Korea is planning to host its first ever international conference focusing on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in October. According to Free Radio or Radio Free Asia, the event will be held in the Hermit Kingdom's capital of Pyongyang and will stretch for 2 days beginning on the 1st of October. Per various reports, the conference is expected to attract blockchain and cryptocurrency experts from all over the world. No information was provided, however, on how this is expected to be pulled off, given that the country has an underdeveloped conference tourism industry and the fact that some countries, such as the United States, have banned their citizens from traveling to North Korea except in special circumstances. If you have time today, if you find yourself for like 30 minutes, YouTube American in North Korea, or like North Korea something like, like hidden camera or something like that. There have been a number of people, I guess it was illegal, who have been going to North Korea, and yeah, I wonder how exactly this is going to play out, because a lot of Americans have also been going there and they were terrified the entire time that they were there. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to completely play out. The event is scheduled to conclude with a meet and greet with the business leaders of North Korea. Sources told Radio Free Asia that the goal behind the conference was to demonstrate the technological capabilities of the Asian country. This comes at a time with a report compiled by Korea Development Bank, a state-run financial institution in South Korea, has claimed that evidence has emerged of a small-scale cryptocurrency mining operation being run by the North Korean regime last year between May and July. However, according to Yonhap news agency, the initiative is said to have failed, though the reasons were not provided. The Korean Development Bank report seems to confirm conclusions drawn earlier that the Hermit Kingdom could be eyeing cryptocurrencies as a way of evading sanctions imposed on the country, or as a way of financing the regime of Kim Jong-un, the country's ruler. In February of this year, CCN reported that South Korean intelligence officials had told the country's parliament that North Korean state-sponsored hackers had stolen billions of won in cryptocurrency last year by hacking exchanges. During the briefing, a member of the country's Parliamentary Intelligence Committee, Kim Byung-ki, alluded to the fact that the hackers obtained the private information of cryptocurrency exchanges as well as the private information of their clients through phishing. They said North Korea sent emails that could hack into cryptocurrency exchanges and their customers' private information and stole cryptocurrency worth billions of won. I'm not going to really read through the rest of it. This is all quite troubling for a number of reasons. There are, how do I say this in the nicest way possible? There are a number of countries who have sanctions on them who were rumored to be creating their own cryptocurrencies. And now we've had news over the last couple of weeks that they are actually stealing cryptocurrencies from other countries and exchanges. I saw, I can't remember where it was. It was in another article. I think it's estimated now that North Korea actually has around like 31,000 Bitcoin. Don't quote me on that number. It's somewhere around there because they've actually been doing this for quite some time and they actually paid attention before everyone else. We're going to get into a very interesting situation where countries that have been sanctioned by the UN and by other countries, where if Bitcoin does become this huge thing, and eventually, I still think it eventually go to 100,000 or even $250,000, where these countries will become some of the richest countries in the entire world. And as mass adoption then picks up, they will no longer be held back by sanctions because no one will be able to tell them what to do. I don't know if you understand the significance of this. Not to name any countries at all, but a lot of sanctions have been put on countries that have been deemed dangerous or an issue to other countries. And when they have free reign to use money as they wish, we are living in very interesting times. There was no point in my life, especially even you could have told me 3 or 4 years ago, that North Korea would be holding an international crypto conference. Once again, you don't hold these type of conferences unless you have some skin in the game, as the saying goes. I wonder exactly how much crypto they have. I assume they're not only collecting Bitcoin. I'm assuming they're probably getting as much of anything as they probably can. This is going to be quite interesting. You better believe as this is going on, I'm going to, one, you can't, it's very difficult to have cameras there to film what they don't want you to film in the country. But if I get any news about this, you'd better believe I'm going to give you every single bit that I know. This is incredibly fascinating. The fact that it's happening at all is very odd to me, and I'm sure it is for a lot of other people out there. A lot of other people were saying in my last video that it was fake news, that whatever I was talking about with North Korea was happening, and I'm like, it's all over the place. Like, we know that these things are actually happening. None of this is actually fake news. Like, it's troublingly odd that all of this stuff is taking place. If this is successful, and it does turn out that they actually are in possession of at least 30,000 Bitcoin, this is probably, in my opinion, what will eventually spark some type of, even not from the $7,000 that we're almost at right now, even to the $15,000, $20,000, $45,000. If other countries figure out, and if normal people open their eyes, and I don't mean that in a rude way at all, believe me, if normal people kind of get it, what's actually happening, when you hear news that countries are having crypto conferences and that they own Bitcoin and that they're mining Bitcoin, this should be an immediate signal to every human on earth to start buying cryptocurrencies, because countries, I was listening to something and they were talking about, a lot of people don't understand that cryptocurrencies could become like the new gold, where, prospectors and stuff like that were going to California and other places around the world and in Mexico, and they were trying to get as much gold as possible in hopes of new wealth and stuff like that. But what we ended up finding out was that as time has gone on, we know that countries have gigantic vaults full of gold, and because they have found a way to suppress the price and buy up as much as they possibly could, and this is kind of what's happening right now with many countries around the world. This should be an immediate eye-opener to everyone. This is not me telling you what to do, but countries around the world are buying up Bitcoin. There's not enough Bitcoin. There's not enough one whole Bitcoin for every single person in the entire world. There's not enough Litecoin for every single person in the entire world. This is all very fascinating to me. Not even tinfoil hatty. It's just realistic that this is actually happening. I wonder, 2018 is already almost over, if you can believe it. It's actually kind of scary how quickly this year went. By the time we get to 2021, I am very fascinated to see how the world, that's 2.5 years from now, how much the world will have changed, because we have a lot of predictions for Bitcoin and for the market and what's going to happen. And like a lot of them say by 2021, we'll hit a Bitcoin price of $1 million just mathematically. That's going to be a day. I'm done rambling. I saw this and I was like, I hope people are paying attention, because I know a lot of people aren't. Not to say that everyone listening to this is not, but your friends and family, should Bitcoin hit $1 million and the entire crypto market ends up exploding, you're going to have a lot of people knocking on your door in about 2.5 years, asking you to loan them money, or can you spare a Satoshi, because times are getting crazy. All right, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. As always, thank you once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all the support. Hope you guys have a great day, whatever today is. I never look at the day when I wake up. I know that's a problem. Thank you all once again for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.